What do you know now about the business credit reporting agencies? Man, you should know a lot because they really hold your fate in their hands. The quality of your business credit reports, the quality of your business credit scores will determine three main things for your business. One, will you be approved or denied for credit cards, credit lines, and financing loans when you go to actually get that financing? Two, what kind of interest rate and terms will you get? Will you get long-term loans, short-term loans? Will you pay higher interest rates, low interest rates? And three, how much money will you actually get? These credit reporting agencies even recommend to lenders and credit issuers how much money you should be given. So getting this one thing right is really important to improving your fundability. And during today's training, this is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to decode the business credit reporting agencies from a fundability standpoint. We're going to talk about what you need to know to actually build your reputation and credibility with the three major commercial credit reporting agencies. We're going to talk about the reports, what you need to know. We're going to talk about the different scores that they actually have, how to manage those scores. We're going to talk about how to get set up with the reporting agencies at no cost, get their secret numbers established that give you credibility. We're going to talk about everything you need to know about Dun and Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian to start building credit profiles and scores with them that help you get the most money for your business at the best terms. So we've got a lot to cover. Let's dive in. So there are three major business credit reporting agencies in the United States: Dun and Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. And there's also FICO. They're not really a credit reporting agency. They're a credit scorer, but they also have a FICO SBSS or small business score. And CreditSafe is another player that you're going to hear about. They've been really big in the UK. They're now making their way to the United States. So in the years to come, you will hear more and more about CreditSafe. We've been talking about them for years as well. So one other to look out for. Now, in the business world, Equifax and Experian are up there, but D&B is by far the biggest. Okay, so D&B is the biggest business credit reporting agencies in the United States. We have TransUnion, we have Equifax, we have Experian. TransUnion really is not in the business space, but Experian and Equifax, who you're familiar with as consumer credit reporting agencies, they are, and they definitely have a presence in the commercial world as well as the consumer world. Okay, and again, there's a lot of smaller business and consumer space as well, but these are the main ones that you really need to know about. Now, Dun and Bradstreet's by far the biggest. They're about 10 times bigger than anybody else. So to give you an idea of the math of this, Dun and Bradstreet has about 230 million records on file of business owners around the world. 230. Experian's the next closest business reporting agency, and they have about 23 million. So Experian has 23 million records. Dun & Bradstreet has 230 million records. So it just goes to show how big D&B is over the other credit reporting agencies. They pretty much, if you look at the number of size of records they have more than TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian do for all consumers, and add Experian and Equifax's commercial records. If you added all of that up, it would still probably be less than just the ones that Dun & Bradstreet has itself. So it gives you a little bit of an idea of the size and the different players in the space. Now, D&B is the oldest and largest credit reporting agency. And I want to stop here for a second, because a lot of people, when I talk about business credit building, are skeptical. And what's interesting to me is that Dun & Bradstreet, who's the biggest business credit reporting agency, was around before consumer credit even existed in the United States, like a decade plus before consumer credit was even started. The first consumer reporting agency in the United States, 10 years plus before they even came about, Dun & Bradstreet was here. So they are the biggest credit reporting agency in the world. Okay, and they're also the oldest credit reporting agency in the world. I'm a history buff. You might not be. But here's another thing that's interesting about D&B. D&B has had 5 U.S. presidents work for them. 5. Think about that. I don't know of anybody else that's even had 3 or 2 U.S. presidents work for them. D&B in their history has had 5 U.S. presidents work for them back when they were in the mercantile agency all the way to the point they are today. So very reputable, very big company that's been around a long time. Steve, what's up? Thanks for coming in. And Mark says, do you guys help with establishing business credit? We absolutely do, Mark. You'll see at the bottom of our slides, we have our phone number to give us a call for a free consultation. We'll get your business credit reports for you for free. We'll give you all tips and tactics to help you build your business credit. And we can talk to you more about options that we have to help you build business credit along the way as well. Now, you want to get your DUNS number with Dun & Bradstreet. There's 2 things that's needed to get a credit score with them. You have to have 3 accounts reporting to them, or what are called trade experiences. You also have to have a DUNS number. Now, the DUNS number is 100% free to get, but D&B will oftentimes try to charge you a fee, what they call their credit builder fee. And they'll tell you that you get your DUNS number faster. They'll tell you need it to activate your credit profile, but you never need to pay Dun and Bradstreet a dime of money, but you do need to get your DUNS number, and you can get it at dnb.com, dnb.com/DUNS-number, or just go to our website, creditsuite.com/DUNS, DUNS. And if you go to creditsuite.com/DUNS, you'll see a quick link to be able to get your DUNS number for free. Now, you've got to set up that DUNS number, and here's why. Because having a DUNS number gives you a lot of credibility when it comes to getting money for your business, okay? So if you have a DUNS number, there's a lot of sources that will approve you just because you have a DUNS number. There's other sources where it just gives you a lot more credibility. You'll get better approvals just because you have a DUNS number. So I'll give you an example. I was building credit for a business, applied for Staples, got denied. The Staples application doesn't even ask for a DUNS number. So a lot of people fill an application like that and go, I don't even need a DUNS number. So in this case, no DUNS number was on the application. Account got denied. So then I called Staples and said, hey, why would you deny this? I already have established credit. There's no reason we shouldn't qualify. So we couldn't find any credit established for your business. I said, well, I have a DUNS number. They said, what is the DUNS number? Gave them the DUNS number. And on the phone, within 5 minutes, really less than 3, they turned that application from a denial into an approval just because they actually located the DUNS number and found the credit profile. Now, this is very important because it goes to show that even a source that didn't ask for the DUNS number on the application, the importance of having that DUNS number, and in doing so, being able to get an approval in an account that usually you get denied. So you want to get this DUNS number. First step of getting set up with Dun and Bradstreet. A lot of sources look at you as very credible just because you have that DUNS number as well. And you've got to have that DUNS number to get a credit score, as I mentioned. Plus, you have to have a few account or payment experiences reporting to Dun and Bradstreet. Now, a payment experience, by definition, basically means the reporting of an account to a credit reporting agency. So if we look at one account that reports to Dun and Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian, let's say a WEX fleet card reports to D&B, Equifax, Experian, that counts as 3 payment experiences. So it's very important for you to know that, because just knowing that one thing will help you expedite your business credit building. It's how we help customers take years of this process and condense it to months, because you need to get accounts that report to more than one reporting agency and get more payment experiences. But in this case, you need to have 3 payment experiences with D&B and a DUNS number for them to actually ever issue you an actual Paydex score. And once you're in D&B's credit system, well, you really want to search Equifax Experian as well. And there's a quick link for free to check and see if the reporting agencies know you exist. It's creditsuite.com/reports. If you go to creditsuite.com/reports, you can do a search to see if D&B knows you exist. If you have a DUNS number, if you have trade lines, you can also do it for Experian, for example. And this is important because with Equifax and Experian, they will give you a failing credit report and score even when you have none, when you have no credit. So if you have a credit report, Experian knows your business name, your address, and your NAICS, your industry code. They will create a failing credit score for you even when you have no credit. So it's very important that you go and do a search at creditsuite.com/reports and see which of these 3 outcomes you'll have. Either 1, nothing pulls up. They don't even know you exist. Or 2, you type the business name and the state that you're in, it pulls up your exact business address, but it does not say that you have trade lines. Or 3, pulls up your name and address, and it says trade lines, an indicator that you have trade lines. If they pull something up for you that doesn't say you have trade lines, you probably have a failing score with Equifax and Experian. Then you want to actually access your business credit reports. You can go to creditsuite.com/monitoring to be able to access monitoring for only $24 to see, or give us a call. Our number's on the bottom of my slides, 877-600-2487, and we will get your number for you, or we will get your credit reports for you for free with D&B, Equifax, and Experian. We'll help you get all those for free. Okay, so D&B has a lot of different reports. They get a lot of their information from their own database of trade vendors that report those payment experiences to them. Okay, but a lot of times they don't have all the information they need. And when that happens, some of their credit scores will even indicate or put you in different classes telling you that they don't have all the information. So let me give you an example. D&B will score you based on your financial stability, and they take your tax returns into account there. But if they don't have your tax returns, they'll look at the number of employees that you have, and they'll indicate that they don't have enough information to give a really 100% accurate determination of your risk. So things like tax returns, it's your choice whether you send them to D&B or not. And if you have good tax returns, you should send them to D&B. It'll help your credit scores. So this is just an idea of how you're scored and looked at differently based on the information that the bureaus have to determine your scores, as well as those scores themselves. And Rahid, thanks for coming in. And Sabrine, thank you for coming in and sharing your friends. I appreciate that. Corey, thanks, man. I appreciate you tuning in as well. So Dun and Bradstreet scores. Paydex is the most common score used in the business world. Some others a D&B has is a D&B rating, a delinquency predictor. The D&B rating takes into account financial data to kind of show your overall risk, taking into account payment experiences and financial data. The delinquency predictor is very similar to Paydex, but it takes into account other things like industry, utilization, etc., to determine how likely you are to potentially be delinquent in the future. A financial stress score, which literally depicts your risk of closing your doors, ceasing operations, shutting down your business in the next 12 months. A SIR rating, and the SIR rating is like if you're going to order stuff from a supplier, you want to make sure that supplier is not going to take your money and disappear and close their doors. So a SIR rating is a way to look at suppliers to make sure they're solid before you give them the money, to give you a pretty good idea if they are going to stick around. And here is a long link you can take a screenshot of, but it's just a place you can go to get a look, a sample look at a full Dun and Bradstreet credit report. Now, do me a favor. If you're getting value, just hit the like button, hit the love button, even share this to help other entrepreneurs. The more you do that one thing to help me, the more that gets this out to more people, helps more entrepreneurs see it, and we can help everybody set themselves up where they can get more money. I don't know about you, but I love to help people. That's why I'm an entrepreneur, right? So if you can do that, hit the like button, hit the love button so we can help as many people as we possibly can. So I want to tell you something interesting about credit scores, something you should know. All of the reporting agencies basically categorize their scores one of two ways. One are called performance scores. It's only based on what you've done in the past. So the Paydex score is a perfect example. Okay, the Paydex score is 100% literally depicted on how you pay your bills on average. If I pay my bills on time, on average, you look at all my bills, I pay them on time, I'll have an 80 score. If I pay my bills on average early, I could have an 85, a 90, a 95, 100 score. How high my score is depends on how early on average I pay my bills. If I get a bill and the minute I get it, I pay it every single time, I'd have a 100 score. But if I pay my bills late, depending on how late I pay my bills, determines on how low my score is. So if I'm 30 days late, on average, I'd have a 70 score, for example. So the entire Paydex score is based only on one thing, how you pay your bills. It looks at what you've done in the past, and it gives you a score based on what you've done in the past. Now, the second kind of score is called a predictive score. It takes into account utilization, inquiries, UCC filings, public records, liens, industry type, financial data, and payment experiences, and it predicts what may happen. So when we look at the delinquency predictor score, it's just like Paydex, but it brings other factors into play and predicts what may happen. The financial stress score brings other factors into place and predicts what happens. The SIR rating really is looking backwards. It's a performance score because it's based on what that supplier has done in the past. So all these scores are basically predicting what may happen or based on strict performance in the past. Now, here's the kicker. If you perform well, if you pay your bills on time or early, then that factor is a major factor in all of these predictive scores. So always make sure you're paying your bills on time or as early as possible. Remember, in the consumer reporting world, you're not even reported late unless you're 30 days late. In the commercial world, you're reported late when you're 1 day late. 1 day late hurts you. So pay them on time or as early as you can. Control the one thing you can really control, and then that's going to help you get good performance and predictive scores as well with all the reporting agencies. So when we look at Paydex score, it ranges from 0 to 100. 100 is the best score you can get. It's the highest score. I told you it's only based on your payment experiences, but there's one caveat per se, and it's what's called a weighted average. And a weighted average just simply means that the highest limit accounts have more weight into the overall score than lower limit accounts. So if I have a $10,000 limit credit card and a $1,000 limit credit card, and I go late on both of them, the $10,000, the higher limit account, will damage my score more than the lower limit account will because it has more weight. So that means in a circumstance where I ever have to choose which account I'm going to go late on, I'd always want to go late on this one, the lower limit account, because it has less weight into my overall score than the higher limit account. So again, based on how you pay with that one caveat of that weighted average. So what influences Paydex score? 875 payment experiences, the total math of what can be calculated into an actual Paydex score, and up to 80 representative payment experiences are reported in your credit report. So you can see 80 in your credit report of 80 bills of how you've paid, but there's 875 total it will take into account to determine the Paydex score. Of course, most of us don't have that. You're probably here because you don't probably even have 10 accounts on your business credit reports. But I'm showing you how grandiose this is because the biggest privately owned and publicly owned companies have gotten where they are by building business credit. A lot of them have this many payment experiences. So let me give you an example. You've probably heard of a company called Walmart, founded by Sam Walton. Well, if you've ever read Sam Walton's book, and he's got a great book, I'm looking to see if I have it somewhere here. If you've ever read Sam Walton's book, he talks in his book about when he was just getting Walmart off the ground, relying on business credit to be able to actually get the stuff he needed to sell in his stores. Business credit was how he started Walmart. Here's what's interesting. If you look at Experian's credit report today, Walmart has over 500 trade lines just on Experian. 80% of all money that goes into Walmart, the number one retailer in the world, is from business credit. 80%. That means that the money that goes into Walmart from business credit has more value to the company than all shareholder value combined in the entire company. It is the biggest asset that Walmart possesses. So think about how Walmart works. Walmart, from inception, Sam has done this with Walmart from the minute he started Walmart, is what he did, and Walmart still follows this trajectory today, is they go use business credit to buy the stuff, they put it on their shelves, they sell the stuff to you, you pay them money, they take your money, and they pay off the credit they used to buy it. That is owning OPM or other people's money, and it's why Walmart has become the number one company in the world. So when I say a retailer in the world, it's why I say if there's 875 payment experiences, to us that seems crazy because we're small business owners. But you need to know that business credit's not just a foundation to help us help our business stand on its own, but it's the exact foundation that every one of the largest publicly and privately owned companies has used to also help them build to where they are. It's why there's so many payment experiences that are calculated and taken into account into that score. Okay, and Sanja, thanks for coming in and joining. Corey says, question, in the personal world, there is a minimum payment. In the business world, when we pay, do you mean pay it off or just make some sort of payment? Well, that's a really good question, Corey. If you pay it off, it'll help your scores more than if you just make a payment. But making a payment on time or early is the most important thing you could do. The most important thing you could do is pay every business bill that reports to the reporting agencies on time or early. And a way down the line important thing you may want to consider is to pay the whole thing off. But what matters more is making the timely payment, not paying it off. But if you have a choice, you want to pay it off versus keep an actual balance. And hey, John, thanks for coming in from Facebook. Okay, so Paydex numbers. Okay, here is the overall look from Dun and Bradstreet. An 80 to 100 is low risk, okay, of late payment. It's telling credit issuers that if you have an 80 to 100 score, you're good. You're probably not going to default. A 50 to 79 score means moderate risk, and a high risk is 0 to 49. So obviously, you want to keep your score at 80 or higher. That tells lenders and credit issuers that you are low risk of failure. Okay, and the basic things to improve your D&B Paydex score is two things. Get as many accounts as you can reported to Dun and Bradstreet. Pay those bills on time or early. It's the only two things. You know how beautiful this world is that we only have to worry about that? The consumer FICO score is a mess. Credit mix is 10% of your credit score. Utilization is 10 or 30%. Your 35% is payment history. 10% is credit or inquiries or new credit. 15% is how long you've had credit for. So it takes many years of well-disciplined borrowing to get good consumer scores. But in the commercial world, it doesn't. I can get excellent commercial scores in 1 month because they're just based on how I pay my bills. I only have to do one thing, pay my bills on time or early. And if I do that one thing, then that, of course, is going to be what gives me a good score. So you can pay D&B $139.99 for a full report with all of your scores. You don't typically need to. If you go to creditsuite.com/monitoring, which is on the bottom of my slides here, it's $24 to be able to get your credit reports with D&B, Equifax, and Experian, and it will give you your Paydex score. Now, if there's things wrong on there, things you think need corrected, you want a full report, then have at it. Pay your $140 for your full report scores, but you definitely don't need to. We created creditsuite.com/monitoring to give you the cheapest access to credit monitoring in the world. And don't forget, if you give us a call, 877-600-2487, 877-600-2487, then you can also at that phone number get a free consultation. We'll get your credit reports for you for free. So along with the Paydex score, if you get the full report, it has your information report, including payment experiences, trade line specifics like dollar amounts and terms, legal events, company events, a company family tree as well. Now, the important thing here is just to know that legal events like lawsuits, whether you sue another company or get sued, is also on your business credit reports. Again, something we're not used to in the consumer world. So I always like to highlight that. And again, if you're getting value, hit the like button, hit the love button. It's the only thing I'll ask you to do. Okay, so it also shows maximum credit recommendation, Paydex score, delinquency predictor, financial stress, and that SIR rating. Now, what's nice here is you get to see the credit recommendation. You get to see the recommendation that lenders and credit issuers see when they're issuing you credit cards and loans. And just knowing that this exists tells you how important business credit building is. A credit issuer like Chase is pulling your credit report, and D&B says this person should be issued a $50,000 credit card. Now, you think Chase is going to give you a $200,000 limit account if D&B only says you should be given $50,000? Probably not. So these credit recommendations are very important to lenders and credit issuers, and therefore very important to you to see what the actual credit bureaus are actually recommending. So if you want to correct your D&B credit report, well, you can go to dnb.com/about-us/our-data.html. And you can also go to what's called their dashboard at no cost and update any information you see. So if you go to their dashboard at no cost, you don't need credit monitoring, you can dispute, you can update your credit reports with DNB as well. And Sable says, I'm just joining. Well, this will be available later. It will be Sable. If you're watching on Facebook, Credit Suite's Facebook, because I see you're on Facebook. If you're on Credit Suite's Facebook page, all of our live streams are housed there as well. So all you have to do is go to facebook.com/Credit Suite. And you can get the playback. Okay. And Lakeisha says, good afternoon. Thanks for coming. Fresh Air Brown. Thanks for coming back, Fresh Air Brown. I have 2 accounts, Uline and Granger. Do I have to open more accounts to move up? I have to buy stuff I really don't need. Yes. You do have to have 5 accounts before you can move to the next tier of business credit building. Being a truck driver, you want to look at Crown office supplies. Their customer service isn't that great, but they do a really good job of giving you 2 payment experiences, and they sell like office supplies. It's all kind of stuff that you want and need. You also want to look Fresh Air Brown at Granger. Granger sells all kinds of outdoor supplies. I find a ton of stuff that truckers can use at Granger. I buy first aid kits. I buy battery stuff that you know, and I know that you need on the road as well. So a lot of stuff at those 2 sources, I think. Oh, you already have Granger. Okay, so, but I would try Crown office supplies as well. You also can get a WEX fleet card, which you obviously need as a truck driver. So some other sources I think that can help you there. So Equifax assigns each company its own, what it calls Equifax ID. Okay, Equifax scores answer one basic question: how likely are you to be severely delinquent? The credit reporting agencies consider everything to be 90 days or late seriously delinquent. So Paydex, Equifax's small business risk score, it's all there to determine how likely you are to go more than 90 days late. That's what these scores actually depict. Okay, and they get information from the Small Business Exchange. They get it from people that provide trade experience data to them, people that report to Equifax. They get it from suppliers, public record sources, LexisNexis, the Small Business Financial Exchange, a lot of these different places. Now, here's the paid scores that you need to know about Equifax. They have the Small Business Credit Risk Score for financial services, obviously a score specifically for that industry, and the Small Business Credit Risk Score for suppliers as well, and the Small Business Risk Score. And that is basically their main credit score. It's exactly the same as D&B's Paydex. 0 to 100. 100 is the best score you can get. Literally depicts on how you pay your bills on average, exactly the same as Paydex. The only difference is with Equifax, an 80 score or higher is good. With D&B, with Equifax, a 90 score or higher is good. So that's the main difference. Your payment trend, your payment indexes as well. So those are the main scores that you may see on your Equifax credit report. And if you want a sample credit report, you could take a screenshot of this and actually pull up a sample credit report from Equifax to see what they look like. Now, you can also get score alerts when any of those scores change. So you can get score alerts with NAV, with D&B, with Equifax, Experian, and they'll tell you if there are changes on your credit reports, such as changes in your actual credit scores. Now, here's an important note. You're not the only one getting these. Lenders and credit issuers get these as well. Have you ever had a consumer credit card and then something happened and you went late, and then the other credit cards lowered your limit as a result of that? Well, that happened because they all have alerts of when things happen. So if I go late on a Chase credit card, my Discover gets notified that I just went late on Chase, and they oftentimes will lower my limits. So lenders and credit issuers are using the same alerts to notify them when things change in your business credit reports. You should sign up for alerts too. And you can do so at creditsuite.com/monitoring on those reports. Let me give you an example. One of my buddies, John, owns a huge media company. He had a $250,000 credit line. His bank called the line due. Now, if you're not familiar with that term, what calling the line due is it means, let's say I have a $250,000 credit line. Let's say I owe $50,000 on that credit line. Calling the line due means Chase calls me and says, hey, man, I'm shutting down the credit line and you need to pay it off within 30 days. That 50 grand balance you have has to be paid in full within 30 days or you're going to be considered late and it's going to be a negative. Okay, so that's the worst thing anybody wants to have is have a credit line, you're using it, you put a bunch of money, then the lender says you owe them all the money. Well, that happened because of a change on his business credit report. He had something happen he didn't even know about. He didn't know about his business credit. His scores went down. They got the alert and they called that entire credit line due. So that's the kind of disaster that can happen if you're not monitoring your business credit reports. So with D&B and with Equifax, it just really makes a lot of sense to make sure that you're actually signing up and getting these kind of alerts, just so you know. Now, Corey says, what about janitorial and maid services, Ty? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking, Corey. Ask that question in its entirety. So, I mean, I can understand what you mean, what you're actually asking. And AC first says, I just started pressure washing. How can this help me? Well, if you go to creditsuite.com or go to youtube.com/creditsuite, and I'll give you a link here too to get a free guide. This will help you dramatically because when you build business credit, you can use business credit for your business to fund itself. You can get credit cards at Amazon, at the places that you're buying all of your supplies at. You can get credit at Walmart. You can get credit at Sam's Club and Costco and almost every major retailer. You can get Visa card, MasterCard. You can get auto financing, all in your business name without a personal guarantee and credit check. So if you want your business to fund itself using business credit, this information will help you do so. And I will point out a guide at the bottom of my slides here, which you can go to at creditsuite.com/live. If you go to creditsuite.com/live, AC First King Heavy D13 from YouTube, then you can also get a free guide that'll map out the steps to build business credit. And Sabrina says, at what point should we freeze our personal credit and for how long? I don't think anybody should freeze their personal credit for any reason. And the reason I think that is unless you really have identity theft. If you freeze your credit report, it does create a lot of issues. It throws up all kinds of red flags when it comes time to get loans and credit lines. And a lot of times it makes it much more difficult. So let me give you an example. Okay, I did the same thing. Then I went to buy a car in Washington State. They literally made me fly to Washington State to sign the paperwork. I mean, this was my day. I flew out in the morning to Washington State. I'm in Florida, okay? I mean, you don't get any further across the country than this. I flew all day to get to Washington. I went in the dealership. I signed the paperwork and I flew all night home to Tampa just because I'd done so. And then there was red flags and I had to go up there. Now I'm actually in the process right now buying a new car in Charlotte. I don't have to go up there. Okay. I tell them I want the car. I have somebody that I know up there look at the car. They ship it down to me. They ship the paperwork to sign. So it's just, there's a lot of problems when you do put those kind of freezes on there. So some things to think about. And Lakeisha says, do you need a website and business number when doing Uline and Quill? You should have one. They will look up your business. And especially if those are your starter vendors, you want to consider getting a website, getting a professional email address, and you definitely want to get a DUNS number because those things, the DUNS number especially is free to do. Okay, Experian business credit. So they are a whole different ballgame with business credit and your business name because of a few different factors. But when we look at Experian, Experian deals with consumer and commercial credit. They're the second most widely used. Well, let me go back to Equifax for a second. Equifax is primarily used by lenders. If you want a bank loan, they really look at your Equifax business credit score. If you want insurance and suppliers and stuff like that, they really look at Dun and Bradstreet. Experian is the most widely used for credit cards. If you ever want a credit card in your business name, Experian's the one that most credit card issuers look at the most. That's why they're very important. They're also the second biggest or largest consumer credit reporting agency or commercial. And they will offer a blended score. And a blended score is your commercial credit score and your consumer credit score put together. Not commonly used, but they do offer it. So you should know that there is that blended score out there from Experian. Okay. You need a BIN number with them, what's called a business identification number. You don't have to do anything to set it up. Once you actually go and have your first trade line that reports to Experian, at that point, they will give you that BIN number. If you want to see if you have anything reporting with them now, go to creditsuite.com/reports, and creditsuite.com/reports. You could do a really quick check with them to actually see if you're set up with them now. Okay. Now, let me see here. I had some questions come in, so I want to make sure that these are answered real quick. Okay, so meaning which creditor like Uline or Granger and Corey? I would just ask me the whole question in its entirety so I don't have to come back. Oh, about which creditor like Uline or Granger sells janitorial maid services? Man, I have to think about that. There's so many of them out there that do that, and I can't think about it off the top of my head, which is the best source for ones that sell janitorial services, but there are definitely some out there. I just can't think off the top of my head of which ones they are. Sable says, so if you don't have those 2 days, you will be denied the net 30. Well, look, if you don't have those two, if you don't have, I don't understand. You guys I have like literally 100 questions in the chat. So you're asking part of a question and then later asking the other part. And it's hard for me to link some of them together. So Sable, if you ask that whole question in its entirety, I could better help you. And Lakeisha says business number, phone number, having issues with website and phone, linking to my mobile phone. There's all kinds of places that can help you like that. Even, for example, if you use Freedom Voice or if you use Ring Central, it's fairly easy to forward those to your cell phone if you're having problems with other provider. So again, their blended score takes into account other things like your actual consumer score and your commercial score. Okay. And again, their most popular score is called Intelliscore. Intelliscore is not like DNB Paydex and not like Equifax Small Business Risk Score, because the Paydex or the Intelliscore actually does take into account other factors other than just your payment experiences. So, but about 85% of your experience score is made up of your payment experiences, how you pay your bills. So 85% of your experience score is how you pay your bills, and another 15% is other things that can affect the score. There's also a financial stability risk rating. And again, this risk rating is just like the others we talked about. It's a score that depicts your likelihood of actually closing your business, shutting your door. And as of the fourth quarter of 2021, this report cost about $39.95. But again, you can go to creditsuite.com/monitoring and get your credit reports for only $24. Okay. Tiffany says, when my car got added to my business credit report, my score dropped a lot. That could be depending on which score you're looking at. And it would be, on your business credit report. And that could be with Experian, because Experian takes into account utilization, things like that. Same in the consumer world. Whenever you add new credit to a credit report, a new loan, it affects your utilization and brings down your score. So definitely possible, but it shouldn't bring down your Paydex score, your Equifax risk score, because those are only based on how you pay your bill, if you're paying those bills as agreed. And Denise says, thanks for the info. You're a great source. I appreciate that. And Sabrina says, those things should be in place before applying for any business credit. That's right. Your business phone number, your business address, your business website, your business email. The title of this training is Fundability Focus, the business credit reporting agencies. But if you go to youtube.com/credit suite and you look at, just search fundability, we have fundability training on a lot of things. You need to have your business phone number set up. You need to have a business website, a business email address. You need to have a business address, your phone number listed with 411, your DUNS number. That's not the purpose of this training. This training is talking about the credit reporting agencies. But as you just pointed out, Sabrina pointed out, there's a lot of things you need to do to improve your fundability before you build business credit. Go check out our other training on that, and that will help you get set up. So Experian also has what they call a Biz Verify report. It's kind of a snapshot of your credit report with a brief summary that provides any information on their business's registration. And this is very important because you don't want to buy a shelf corporation. A lot of people think they're going to buy an established business and fool everybody to think you have this really well-established company. The minute that ownership changes, an alert is sent out to everybody that's following your credit report to notify them that. And then your family tree shows that there's an ownership change, and it throws up all kinds of scrutiny and red flags. And they basically re-age your credit report as if you're just starting over. So this is one of the reasons you just never want to buy shelf corporations. They won't actually ever really help improve your business. So make sure that vendors are reporting your payment experiences. Make sure that you're paying your bills on time. Okay, for Experian, historical behavior accounts for 5-10% of your total score. How long you've had credit, how you've paid your bills in the past. Utilization can be 20% or more sometimes of your Experian score. So don't overuse the account. Make sure you're paying all the accounts as agreed. Avoid derogatories, avoid liens, lawsuits, all of that kind of stuff that can adversely affect you. Okay, and Sable says, why would they call the line due? Well, think of it like this. It's the same as I mentioned a credit card. Okay, if I have a credit card with a limit of $10,000, okay, through Chase, and I have another credit card with Discover that I go late on, Chase gets notified that I'm late on Discover, and the fact that I start going late on one revolving account is a huge red flag to other credit issuers that I'm in trouble. So what a lot of them will do is lower my limits to what I owe because they're afraid that they're the next one that gets defaulted on because I'm going late somewhere else. Same thing with credit lines. Credit lines are called due for all kinds of reasons, but one of the reasons a bank calls a credit line due is because they're concerned about the stability of that business. Why did they become concerned? Because they monitor your credit reports. They have credit alerts that notify them when things change. And in the example that I gave earlier, Sable, what I said is that his credit report changed. Something derogatory showed up, lowered his scores. The lowering of scores triggered an alert to the bank. The bank then automatically called his line due because they were concerned that he was going late on other accounts. Now he's got $200,000 worth of available credit with them. They're concerned about it, so they call the whole line due versus leave that credit line opening knowing it's going to default. So that's exactly why they typically will call that due. And Torres says, good afternoon. What will be the third good tier vendors? 3, well, I like Crown Office Supplies. I like Uline. Quill now wants you to have some accounts reporting before you go to them, but they're good. And I think Granger as well as good as well. So there's a few of them. And Lakeisha says, I have the domain, but having trouble with setting up email, went through InkFile to set up. My phone is through. Look, I can only tell you this. I only use GoDaddy. I love GoDaddy. They have the best customer service of any company I've ever dealt with. And I get my URL there. I get my domain there. I get my email there. So I can't help you with that because I don't know enough about InkFile. But if you just go to a place like GoDaddy and set up your domain, you can easily get your email with that as well. And then AC First Talking says, definitely looking for startup capital. If you're looking for startup capital, you want to give us a call, and I'll give you the number for a free consultation. We've got a great program called Credit Line Hybrid. You may be able to get now. You don't need revenue for it. Works for a startup. You can get up to $150,000 in credit lines at 0% rates. All you need is good personal credit or a guarantor that has it. If you don't have that, if you have some kind of collateral that can be used as an asset, that can help you with startup funding. And of course, business credit itself is a way for your business to fund itself. And good, don't forget, if you're getting value, please hit the like button, please hit the love button, please share. That helps other entrepreneurs see this. And I'm sure you're as obsessed with helping others as I am. So we all appreciate that you do that. Okay, so let's talk about CreditSafe. Okay, so they are not as big as Equifax, D&B, and Experian. They've been around and started to get bigger over the last 10 years. They're very big in the UK. Okay, they have a global network of lending commercial credit referencing agencies. They have data streams over 70 different countries that are now using them. Not as popular as others, but again, a lot of people are now using CreditSafe to make decisions and reporting to CreditSafe. So it's something that you absolutely should know about. It's very important that you do. Okay, and I also want to come make sure that I have, okay, I had the DUNS number for 2 years. I will actually get to all of your questions here. So FICO SBSS, this is used and necessary for SBA loans. Bottom line is you can't get an SBA loan unless you have a FICO SBSS score high enough, which is usually a 140 to 160 score, depending on what kind of SBA loan you're applying for. You can't have a FICO SBSS score unless you have established business credit. It's very important. So the way FICO SBSS works is that lenders, you can't access FICO SBSS score. And here's why. It's different with every lender. The lenders decide what carries more weight into their own score than other factors. So here's an example. Bank of America might say, I want Dun and Bradstreet commercial data to be first, Experian to be second, Equifax to be third. Then I want consumer credit reports, TransUnion to be fourth, Equifax to be fifth, Experian to be sixth. Pretty typical. So they're choosing the business and consumer credit reports in order that they want to weigh into that score. Here's the problem. You can't have a score high enough if you have no established business credit. If D&B report's empty, Equifax is empty, Experian is empty, your score will never be high enough to get an SBA loan. It's why you have to have established business credit to get an SBA loan. And by the way, FICO SBS is being used in a lot more areas as well. So you really need to make sure that you're coming in and that you are that you're building business credit, because it's so important for your ability to get financing. So how long does this data stay on your credit reports? Well, as per Experian, bankruptcies can stay on there for 7 to 10 years. Chapter 13 bankruptcy rolls off your credit report 7 years from the filing date. Chapter 7 stays on 10 years from the filing date. Trade data stays on for 36 months. Judgments, collections, tax liens stay on for 6 years and 9 months. That's random. No clue what that is. UCC filings down there for 5 years. So here's where you can learn more about that. But that's not all of them. That's just Experian. Now you know why I never teach on this one thing, because as you can see, like all accounts stay on there for different periods of time for each one of the reporting agencies. So it's definitely different, but here's an idea of experience to get an idea of how long things will actually stay on your commercial credit reports. And when it comes to disputing your credit reports, you can usually go through Equifax and Experian's credit monitoring and do that. And you can do it through Dun and Bradstreet through their dashboard. That could help you as well. Now, Sable says, I need to start over. I started, but haven't been monitoring and missed payments. What do you suggest I do from here? Get your credit reports. You can do it at creditsuite.com/monitoring. Don't get me wrong. I don't care. You can go to D&B, Equifax, Experian Direct. It's just $250 to get your reports. creditsuite.com/monitoring is the free option, or give us a call. We'll get your reports for you at no cost. Excuse me. creditsuite.com/monitoring is only $24. If you give us a call, we'll get your reports for you, go over them with you, and give you tips and tactics. Like, is it better to fix what you have or start over? We can do that and help you get your credit reports for free. So give us a call or get your credit reports. Those are the best things to start with. Fresh Air Brown says, so with 5 accounts on my business credit reports, it's the banks that give me high limits like 30 to 50 start. No. I'm not going to teach you all steps of business credit building here. If you want that, go to creditsuite.com/live, creditsuite.com/live. Go to youtube.com/credit suite. And on our channel, I have all the steps that break down exactly what you do to build business credit. Here's a quick overview. If you have 5 vendors, Uline, Quill, Crown Office Supply type vendors, then you get to retail credit at every major retailer, Amazon, Sam's Club, Costco, as Staples, Office Depot, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, Nordstrom, and Macy's offer this. I mean, credit at almost every major retailer. When you get to 8 accounts, you can get fleet credit, Visa card, you can get fuel cards, Sunoco, Citco, BP, Chevron, etc. When you get to 14 accounts on your business credit reports, that's when you get to Visa card, MasterCard, auto financing, the top tier of business credit building. So that's how that really works out. Again, when it comes to disputing, you want to try to supply any proof you have to the bureaus with your disputes. I've often found that they'll dispute and remove your information, even if you don't supply supporting documentation. And keep in mind, I'm not trying to self-promote, but if you are working with Credit Suite, not only will we help you build business credit really quickly, like we take it from years to only months to do, but we can help you with the disputing of inaccurate information as well, getting set up with a reporting agency. You're working with our software and our team. So if you get stuck, keep in mind we can help you through this process. And again, as I mentioned, the best way to do it is dispute. Dun and Bradstreet, you want to dispute through what's called their dashboard. Experian and Equifax, you want to do it through their monitoring. Now, D&B, you can go to dnb.com/products and look at their credit monitoring. Typically, you can get alerts for as low as $40. Their lowest option to monitor the business credit's $150 a month. Experian is about $189 a year for their basic alerts plan. They are upwards of, I think, about $50 a month to monitor your business credit regularly with them. And Equifax, you can't even monitor right now with Equifax. They're doing something funky. But when you can monitor with them, normally it's about $20 to actually monitor with them. Now, Tora says, I'm with Granger, Uline, Quill. What will be 3 good ones? We talked about some of those as well. Crown Office Supplies is another. Wex Fleet is another that you can use as well. And Strategic Network Solutions is another one to check out. Lakeisha says, I had the DUNS number for 2 years, but just incorporated this year. Okay, that's great. But you had an entity set up if you had the DUNS number. And Sabine says, okay, I was under the impression that we should freeze personal accounts when apply for certain. You should never freeze personal accounts. The idea of building business credit is this. You have a personal credit report and score here. We're building one for your business here. These two are separate. They have nothing to do with each other. If you do this the right way, we have plenty of free training that teaches you how to do this. And I'll give you our phone number for a consultation as well. Your business report has nothing to do with your consumer. You don't need to do anything with your consumer report to build your business credit report. So you definitely, absolutely never need to freeze your consumer credit. And this is why you got to be really careful to listen to bad advice, because when you do things that could really get you in trouble on the consumer credit side. Steve says, I'm a used car dealer. There is one day of the month that you can get a brand new car cheaper than any other day of the month. the public had no idea about this. Well, I want to know, what day is it? Everybody's saying, what day is it? God, you can't just drop that bomb and tell us what day of it is. So make sure that you let us know what day that is. I think we all want to know now. So monitoring your business credit score reports and scores, I mentioned, it can be pretty expensive. You can go to creditsuite.com/monitoring, and you can monitor there for literally $24. You can also give us a call at 877-600-2487, and I'll get you that number in a minute, and we'll give you a free consultation and get your credit reports for you for free. So remember, with business CRAs are similar but not identical. There are numbers you want to get, like a DUNS number with Dun and Bradstreet, a BIN number with Experian. And the DUNS number with Dun and Bradstreet is one of the first steps to set up to build your business credit. The credit bureaus get their information from a lot of places, including the Small Business Financial Exchange. This is an exchange where all banks openly share their information. So every major credit card issuer and like 4 of the 5 major banks are all part of this, and they openly share their information. So you might think you're applying at Wells Fargo and not know that Bank of America is getting that info, but they are. So some things to keep in mind. Experian does have a blended score that blends your consumer and commercial credit reports together, but it's not very popular. You've got to build business credit to ever get an SBA loan, because we've got to get your FICO SBSS high enough. Remember, monitoring these reports can be expensive. You can save a ton of money at creditsuite.com/monitoring. That is a great shortcut that can help you along the way. And let me see, Uline is a good fit for a cleaning business. There's a lot of them out there that I think is. Okay, can you please share what day? Okay, I think everybody's wanting to know, Steve. What day of the month is the best to be able to do that? I think you said buy a car, so we all want to know. Y'all hit the like button. I'm calling. Okay, AC first thing heavy, and I appreciate that. Thank you. If you got value, hit the like button, hit the love button. We just went through a ton of stuff. How the credit reporting agencies work. We broke down every one of your scores, what you need to do to control those scores, how to fix your business credit, how to monitor your business credit. I'm exhausted. I think I deserve a like at least. So please like and love and even share this if you got a lot of value. Can you assist with getting started up lending for high-risk businesses? We absolutely can, LaShawna. All you have to do is give us a call. If you give us a call at 877-600-2487, the first thing we do is we do a fundability assessment. We look at the things like your Secretary of State and the things that may be wrong. We help you fix them so you become more lendable. So I don't care if you get money with us or not. Let's at least fix what's wrong for free, and then you can get out there and try to have a better chance of getting approved. We also get your business credit reports for you at no cost. They're $250 from the bureaus. We get them for you at no cost. We go through them with you. We give you tips and tactics to build your business credit. Then we do a funding assessment. We tell you all the loans and credit lines you can get right now. Look, a lot of people think they can't get approved. Then they come to us on this consultation, they get approved. Like if you go to our website, you literally will see hundreds of reviews, hundreds of positive reviews that just talk about how awesome our consultation is. Like, I can't believe this was free. This was the best call I've ever had. Literally, that was something that somebody just said this week. So it happens all the time, but it only happens if you give us a call for a consultation or email us, info@creditsuite.com, or you schedule the consult at creditsuite.com/consult. And if you got value, then make sure you like this, love this, please share, subscribe. And don't forget, Tuesday and Thursday at 1, 11 o'clock on Wednesday, we go live on Facebook, my personal LinkedIn, Ty Crandall, and YouTube as well for Credit Suite. Okay. And on top of that, we also have a podcast called the Business Credit and Financing Show. 500,000 downloads, 500,000. Very popular, and all kinds of experts come on and teach you everything you need to know to start and grow a business, not even just on the financial side. And then we have tips like daily with Instagram, with Twitter, with Facebook as well, and hundreds of videos on YouTube. All of our social channels, our podcast, everything is accessible at the top right of our page. I got a secret. We have a second podcast a lot of people don't even know about. It's called the Influencer Blueprint Show. And all we do is find the highest level influencers in the country, and they come on the podcast and tell about how they become influencers and how you can become influencers. If you go to creditsuite.com/podcast, you can access both of our podcasts, and that's really an amazing option as well. So creditsuite.com, top right of our page gives you access to all of those things. Okay. And I want to make sure that I get your questions answered. And I still have a lot of outstanding questions. So let me make sure that I get all of those answered for you. Okay, how do you do this? I think Steve left without telling us the day. That was kind of mean of Steve to do that. Can you assist with getting started? Okay, Earl says your FICO SBSS score content and also your bank rating info is offered by no one else within the space. Kudos to you, Ty. Thanks, Earl. And this is really something we specialize in, is finding the stuff that really is the reason that you're getting turned down and help you fix it. What we're doing with LexisNexis will be the first in the industry as well, where we're taking the same information lenders use to make these decisions about you that you don't know they're using from LexisNexis and from other reporting reporting agencies and calculating that and pulling that into a score that will then tell you how fundable your business is, and you can make adjustments to fix it. So that's the kind of stuff that we work on behind the scene. Does NAV have a contact number? They do. It's on their website. I don't know off the top of my head. We'll do a call today. I look forward to that. And Corey says, people, go to his YouTube channel. Ty has all of this there. Ty is a business mentor, and he does even know, and he don't even know it. He's the best in the business. I'm going through his program now. Corey is a client of ours and a partner of ours. By the way, by being a client, you get not just all of this. Imagine what we give away for free, and we work with you hand on hand to succeed. But Corey's a partner, which means he offers business credit financing as a service. So if you have an interest in offering business credit financing to customers, we are the only one in the space that has a reseller program to do that, where it's kind of like a franchise without the huge franchise fee. So if you're interested in that, give us a call as well. And Corey, you're the best, man. I really appreciate you throwing that out there. John, how long does data stay on DMB? Again, as we looked back with Experian, it's not how long data stays on your credit report. It's how long certain kinds of data stay on your credit report. So there is no answer of 2 or 3 years. Here's a look at Experian alone. Okay, and they're all the same. DMB, Equifax, Experian, bankruptcies, UCC filings, trade lines, derogatories. They all have a different time frame of how long they stay on the report. So that's something I've chose to not memorize, because everything stays on there a certain amount of time. But this gives you an idea for just for example of Experian, John, and how different it is on how long. So how long things stay on your credit report, John, really depends on what kind of account it is. That's the short answer to your questions. And Fresh Air Brown says, was seeing where I was at. Love the content. Thanks for there's more than I thought. Good. I appreciate that. And my goal is always to give you guys the best of what I have. And I'm currently partnering in my credit repair business after Ty's former credit repair business. And I'm getting set up to sell business credit too. That's awesome, man. Congratulations, Corey. And I did exit a consumer credit business many years ago, and I have one of the best-selling books on consumer credit you can access if that helps you as well. And Earl says, are bank ratings limited to the individual bank, or is it industry-wide? They're industry-wide. And so Earl's asking about something called a bank rating, a secret credit score very few entrepreneurs know about. You can go to youtube.com/credit suite and access my training on bank ratings. It's the only place you're going to find it. It's an internal credit score system used by all banks that rates your ability to pay them back. And if you ever want to get an SBA loan or any financing through the bank, you need to know about your bank rating. So go to youtube.com/credit. Did you get value? Hit the like button, hit the love button, hit the share button. Make sure you subscribe. If you subscribe on YouTube, click the bell beside subscribe, select all so you're notified whenever you go live. And I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for tuning in on our next training about how to access money for your business. Don't forget, you're entitled to a free consultation. We get your credit reports for free with Dun and Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian. Go through those with you, give you tips and tactics to improve them, do a free fundability assessment to see what needs to be fixed there to help you, and do a free funding qualification to tell you all the money you can get now. It all happens on a consultation, 877-600-2487, 877-600-2487, or creditsuite.com/consult. I look forward to seeing you on our next training. We're talking about more cool ways to get money to start and grow your business. Thanks for tuning in.